Kevin Tucker on we're getting the ice pretty bad. He goes, something happened on the tower down here, obviously. We're out.
I see you every once in a while.
Hopefully we're not. It doesn't affect you. Is it my website?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Finish.
I get it.
Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please, Gary.
Brennan? Brennan?
Here.
Chartran?
Here.
Dahlhoff?
Here.
Halfway?
Here.
King?
Here.
Coulter?
Here.
Mowerhand? Here. Mosier?
Here.
Lawson has been excused. Table?
Here. Please stand, we'll have an invocation. Lord, we pray for compassion and humility in our hearts. Let us be kind, gentle, generous, loving, giving and forgiving, wherever we may go. Allow pride to never get the best of us as we fulfill our dreams. Amen. Pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Legislators should have received a copy of the January 3rd meeting minutes. Are there any corrections at this time? If not, they stand approved. Report of the Rules and Legislation Committee per Rule 6. Jerry?
The Rules and Legislation Committee is met, and they recommend to waive the rules to act upon late resolutions this evening.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We go to privilege of the floor. Does anyone in the community have anything to say to address the board at this time? Okay, we go to presentation of communications and notices. Jerry?
Ms. Kelly Ritz, a Village of Harrisville resident, had penned a thank you note to the board for the county contribution to assist with the cost of village dissolution study. The board acknowledges receipt of resolutions adopted by the Chemung County Legislature in support of a state plan for Next Generation 911 and to create a New York State department that supports county public safety answering points and enhances local emergency dispatch services. Also, to more equitably and efficiently impose the 911 surcharge on all wireless communication devices and use the revenue to finance life-saving county 911 services. The board also acknowledges receipt of resolutions adopted by the Greene County Legislature in support of New York State ride-sharing legislation and legislation to prevent elder abuse and isolation, and also a resolution adopted by the Town Board of Victor, New York, thereby adopting a Think Differently initiative to assist individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. And that concludes correspondence.
Thank you, Jerry. And now the reports of county officers and departments. Jerry?
Legislator Chartran, as a Democrat on the board, has designated the Watertown Daily Times as their official newspaper for 2017. Legislators have received copies of the County Treasurer's January report, the January 27 Highway and Solid Waste Audit reports, minutes of the October 18, 2016 Public Health Services Advisory Committee meeting, and the December 13, 2016 and January 10 Soil and Water Conservation District Board of Directors meeting. Legislators have also received copies of the 2016 annual reports from the following county departments: Code Enforcement, Community Services, Economic Development, Highway, Office for the Aging, Planning, Probation, Public Health, Real Property Tax Services, Solid Waste and Recycling, and the Treasurer's Cash Report. The Sealer of Weights and Measures monthly report has been received and has been placed on file. That concludes reports.
Thank you, Terry. We'll now go to the reports of the standing committees. Phil Hathaway is our new chair of taxation, elections, and IT, but has agreed to give us the Ways and Means report at this meeting. Phil, you have the floor.
Larry, I'm gonna make this just as long as I can, okay? With the solar project, we're still on track. We get a weekly update from Green Skies, and they have been assuring Freight Pace that everything is still on track for, to make schedule this year. The two clean energy projects we're doing is also on track. There's been a suggestion of how we might be able to help the DMV situation, but at the moment, we're not quite ready to present that to the board yet, because we're still trying to clarify a few things, but it sounds like a good solution. Regarding JCC, mainly Liz and Frank Pace have been the driving force on that, but we did have a long discussion about financing that this at our meeting, and Jerry King came up with a really good suggestion of how to finance that, and you'll see this in the resolutions here. He can explain it better than me probably, but the essence of what he's recommending we do would save us at least probably $50,000 in band interest, because we could pay it in 2 years instead of 5. So thanks to Jerry for strongly recommending that. On the enterprise, that Liz is obviously the driving force on that as well, and now also Highway and Liz are working together to put forth something to the Highway Committee this Thursday, perhaps getting some pickup trucks from Enterprise if it's financially feasible, which it seems to be. And there has been an upgrade on the electric car, Larry. The car we're going to get is a Ford, I don't know what they call it, but it can go 115 miles at 84 miles an hour. So you and I are covered, Larry.
You won't make Albany.
No, down,
Make
not,
Harrisville.
we also talked about the corner lot, the one on 812 Route 12, across from Walmart, that we own, that we've been approached about people wanting to purchase it, and we authorized Joan to get an appraisal on that, so we have a better idea of what we should accept as a bid for that. Also, we are going out for inquiry to engineering firms of having them send us their capabilities, just for future reference, and to see if we would want to hire somebody different in the future. And that's pretty much the report. The two Franks just work really hard on the projects that we have, and we really want to thank them for that. And Joan is totally up to speed and keeps us on track. And as everybody knows, Patty gives us the look when we get off track on budget. So she deserves a really big thank from me as well. And of course, Liz is trying to get us into the 21st century, if not the 22nd. So I guess I've been kind of lazy, and I just kind of sit back and take credit for what they did. But that it's such a really good crew to support, and obviously Dick and Jerry have been a great support as well. And I just wanted to say that, to appreciate the time I spent on that committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Rocky's not here for the DSS report. Greg or Andrea, aware of anything should be brought up? Jenny? Any motions or anything?
No motions.
Okay. Ryan, county officers, veterans, junkyard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. From veterans, Derek was there for his every other month report. He reported to us that his coworker, Stephen, had finished a training on the Veteran Benefits Management System. And by having Stephen trained on this and having access to that, it has greatly helped Derek with his work down there and stuff in a timely fashion. Just that, I don't know, did Derek send you any of the veteran service, the fourth quarter report? Did you get that? So if you didn't, here, I'll read some numbers off from that. So his total contacts for the fourth quarter were 335 veterans. He served a total of 220 of them. Services rendered were 771. In fourth quarter revenues that were gained for the veterans in this county was $45,771. Year to date, that's $386,836. That's all I have for veterans. So they do a really great job down there. The two of them do. As far as junkyard, nothing going on with junkyard. And then HR, you're going to have some resolutions. We interviewed and we came up with a finalist for the HR director. So there's a resolution in the packet for us to vote on tonight. And that would be it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Brian. Jerry, courts and law.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, appreciate it. I need to make two motions. The first one will be a motion to authorize Sheriff Carpinelli to refill a vacant part-time correction officer's position due to a promotion effective immediately. So one of the part-timers was bumped up to full-time.
Okay, Jerry moves the motion. Is there a second? Brian, discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay. And the second motion to authorize Sheriff Carpinelli to fill correction officer's lieutenant position effective immediately due to an impending retirement at the end of February.
Okay, moved by Jerry, second by Dick. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And what that will do, just give people heads up, it'll probably be an in-house promotion to the lieutenant, so it's going to create another vacancy. So next month we may have another motion to retire. Just fill you in what happened. I traveled to F. Johnson, I believe it was last week, from Tuesday to Thursday. We were working on the paging system. We did make some good progress where we were having trouble before. I think the quality's improved quite a lot. They're coming up with a solution of what they have to do as far as to make it a permanent fix. So we should know more on what the corrections are. What it's looking like is, excuse me, we may have to go from a 5 dB gain antenna to an 8.5 or 9.5 dB gain, because what we found is, even with our setup the way we had, it was below, the signals coming in were below the thresholds of the pagers. And when you had like 3 signals coming in, and I learned some new words, and it was called phasing. And when they took the signal strength with phasing, seeing 3 signals were coming in, it just keeps adding, even though the signal's not that strong, gives you a false reading. So we separated the towers one at a time. And Casterland, they were having trouble, especially when we turned the antenna to correct Loudville to this side, the legs, because they thought there might be some shielding. And anyways, when we're all said and done, we turned the power up on number 3. Casterland's really improved tremendously. In that process, we also helped Krogan and Loudville. So then in the southern part of the county, we worked 2 different towers. One of them was Lions Falls that we increased. That helped a little bit for Greg at the fire station. We still have a little bit in there, but we're maxed out there now. So until we
till they decide what they're gonna do, whether it's gonna be an antenna change to get a little bit more power out of it. We don't know how much we've improved, Greg, but we've improved, Seaville, they were having trouble, and between the Justin, Lines Falls, and New York Power Authority, we've got them up where they've got quality stuff too. So we think just about everybody except one group has got decent paging now. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Very good, Jerry, thank you for the report. Larry, economic development.
Can
Jay, I got a call from one of the officers of the Harrisville Fire Department today, and he was wondering if it would be permissible to put a siren on the radio tower. They want to have a siren again, and where their fire hall is located is right next to the senior citizens, so they really don't want to put it there and blast the senior citizens right out of their beds, but they felt like on the tower it would be more widespread and get the remote areas as well as Bonaparte and like that. Could the committee consider that and let us know?
Yeah, what I'll have to do, and I'm pretty sure the towers, can handle the extra weight and stuff like that. I will reach out to our engineer Duclos, see about it. And then I guess the only other question, how would they plan on tripping that tower or that siren? Do you know?
I don't know a whole lot about it, but they've got the setup in the fire hall existing. So he said what would probably have to happen would be a remote trigger. And I asked him who would be doing it, and he said they would have Wells doing it. So that might ease the transition to that maybe, because Wells should know about the towers, right? Or not?
I'm not sure they know about the load limit and stuff like that, but I will reach out to Duclos. I should have an answer in a day or two. And then I'll get back to you and you can contact who in the fire department.
And I'll email you his name and phone number also, in case Duclos has questions, so
Okay.
I'll get that up to you in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, like when we put the internet on it too, I'm positive the tower's got enough load, but the one thing they'll look at is make sure it doesn't generate interference and that it's capable of carrying it. I don't see any problem though.
On the surface, it seems like a logical thing to do. It's for public safety,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, Larry, economic development.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll start with a motion to allow Peter Burkholder to plant the trees again this year. He's the same gentleman that's been doing it for the last at least 2 years that I know of.
Okay, moved by Larry, second by Brian. Discussion?
So do we get so much attached, Larry?
75 cents.
Other questions? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
The Lions Falls project, Restore New York, awarded a grant for that to continue the next phase for $500,000. So we're that far into that. We need some more money. We have an application into the EPA and see how that works out and go from there. But at least we got a real decent start on it. We're continuing to work on the Commerce Park. Bringing cars involved, trying to get to the shovel-ready status. The IDA this morning had their quarterly business breakfast at 49 attendees. Very well attended, and we had an excellent meal put on by the Maple Museum, pancakes and sausage and ham. It was very good.
And maple syrup there, did you, Larry?
Yeah, they had even had a little maple syrup, surprisingly. And Frank has passed out some bags and pens for our transportation department and the program, and he'd like to make a couple comments on that?
Yes, you have some promotional items there that Rachel Gardner, our planner that handles transportation, is part of her educational program that she's putting forth. So as she goes around to the senior complexes and to the other community programs, that she will be giving presentations to the different promotional items that will be given out to those to support our transportation system. Also, she just launched a Facebook page for us for transportation. So that is in its first week, and we're moving forward with the program that she has put in place. She's been very aggressive with the program, and I think we're going to get some excellent results. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. And that is the end of my report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Larry. And now Craig. Craig is our new chair of Ways and Means, Buildings and Grounds. However, for tonight, he will give a report from the taxation IT departments. Go ahead, Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In that new hat, I have a motion to authorize Planning Director Frank Pace, Buildings and Grounds Supervisor Frank Archer, and our County Attorney Joan McNichol to select and award the architect, engineer, vendor from proposals due to be read on February 15th for site and building design of the JCC Extension Center. The county attorney is further authorized to draft an appropriate contract and apprise the Ways and Means Committee of the details of the bid award and contract terms.
Okay, moved by Craig. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Larry. Discussion. Jerry.
Yeah, if I'm gonna put my name on money, the committee needs to be involved.
Yes, it said it would be. And I'll be there on the 15th.
Apprised of it,
Yes,
is
apprised.
what you said. Now, I would like to hear it come out of the horse's mouth.
That will be involved. The whole purpose to authorize this motion is to allow them to accelerate the process of getting this operation up and running. There is an RFP that was put out, and it's going to be opened. The RFPs are going to be read on the 15th, and I intend on being there. So we're just authorizing them to select the architect and engineer to start the very first phase, not to complete the project.
I think I would like to be there for that one, so whatever.
Well, you're more than welcome to be there on the 15th.
Okay. Satisfied, Jerry?
Well, I think we're taking it out of legislators' hands, and then we're ultimately responsible for it, so, no, I'm not.
Well, you're invited to attend, and Frank, you can be there.
Yes.
Perhaps I can as well.
And Dick maybe also.
Or any other. It's not exclusive.
No.
I'm more curious, I guess, how the other legislators that are not in the Ways and Means Committee feel. I mean, what's some of the other thoughts? That's all I'm.
I guess my thoughts would be, everyone should be involved in this decision. I think if the legislators are going to be responsible for the money and be held responsible for it, then the Ways and Means, at least the Ways and Means should have some input on who is selected for this RFP, not just Frank and Joan.
As I understood it, it was mainly to avoid a special meeting. But if the legislators don't mind having a special meeting, which is what I'm trying to, I guess, ask how everybody feels about it. I think the more of the people that are involved, more of the legislators that are involved, the better off we are.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What was the time that you were planning for the 15th, correct?
I think it was 11 o'clock or noon on the 15th. I can get that and get back to you.
It's noon. The bids are to be in by noon on the 15th.
So it's noon on the 15th.
Our team will be meeting at 1 o'clock that day to start reviewing the proposals.
Yeah, you need a day or two to make a decision. Make a recommendation, plus you only get one.
Larry.
So just for clarity, the 15th is to open the responses for the RFP for the architectural design of the JCC Center.
Yes, I understand. I think there were 3 RFPs, 3 that responded, 3 firms.
We don't know yet. I don't know.
We have
So that's on the 15th. So whatever your pleasure is, the motion stands, it's seconded, and I guess we could call for a vote.
We can, would you like a special meeting? Is that what you were suggesting, Dick?
I think what I'm hearing from all the legislators is that they would prefer to have a special meeting. I think somebody was trying to save us some time by having another meeting, how I read that. I don't mind having a special meeting and attending it, so if everybody else feels the same way, I think, we're all in favor of it. It's a very important decision. I think, just kind of include everybody.
Would you like me to amend the motion to incorporate into it a full board meeting for the approval?
No, the chairman would call a special meeting. There still needs to be action on this motion.
Right, so as it is, your motion stands to have the people mentioned to make that call, so do you want to vote on that or vote it down now, one way or another? Any more discussion on that motion?
The only thing I would offer is that I have confidence in the committee to make that selection. I don't see the need for a special meeting. Committees do the interviewing for employee department heads, and the board accepts those recommendations from the individual committees. I don't see where this is any different.
And I think also the fact that Joan is involved, we have proper legal looking at this before they accept a vendor.
But with your 3 input, Craig, you guys, the 3 of you might have different questions or maybe thoughts during the RFP selection process that they might not think of. So, 5 heads might come up with more questions than what just 2 would. And I have full confidence in Frank and Joan, but I mean, the total cost of this building is $4 million of the taxpayers' money. We should be involved as much as we can. And I agree with you, Larry. If we want to have a special meeting to discuss what the committee presents us, I'm comfortable with that. Just so that we're all fully aware of what everything is. So.
All right, so as it stands, we have the motion to vote on. Any other discussion?
And that motion
The motion
is
was
to allow
the
the 3 people to make a recommendation to the Ways and Means Committee. Isn't that the way you said that?
No, it's to allow them to choose one of the vendors based on the RFP and for Joan to construct a contract. Is that correct?
What'd you say about the Ways and Means Committee?
That they could be there.
Yeah, that she would apprise us of the details if we're not there.
So
At the committee meeting, and then it would come to the full board, I guess. At the briefing at the board for the committee.
The motion is allowing the committee to make that selection and authorize the bid.
The Ways and Means Committee.
Well, the motion is authorizing Frank Pace, Frank Archer, and Joan McNichol to select and award the architect-engineer vendor
And
from
further,
the proposals.
and further for Joan to appraise the committee of the results.
Mhm.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, it was to just move the initial phase of this building forward.
So if you'd like a special meeting, vote no on the motion, correct?
Right.
That would have to be.
All right, so let's have a vote. All in favor of Craig's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I need the names of those opposed, please.
All right, maybe let's do a roll call vote then.
Brennan,
Yes.
Chartrand,
No.
Dalhoff,
Yes.
Hathaway,
Yes.
King,
No.
Kulzer,
Yes.
Mowerhand,
No.
Mosher,
No.
Fawcett is absent. Table.
No.
Okay, the motion is defeated.
Okay, with that defeat, we'd like to schedule a special meeting a few days after that review right now. Dick?
In the spirit of speeding this right along, I just looked at my calendar, we don't have anything on the 17th, which is that Friday. Would that give the committee time to review and brief us?
I would expect, I mean, you're on the committee. Jerry, would that
Why
work
don't
for
you
you?
consider, setting a meeting for the 17th and then
Any
let us
special
know.
time, Ryan, you like?
It's early in the morning, you should do it 5 in the morning. That way I can work all day long.
There'll be room for a truck out here.
Later days better for me.
Well, then,
4?
4, okay.
4?
Four.
I can do 4.
Okay.
Frank, does that work for you?
Excuse the quit work.
4 in the afternoon? 4 in the morning.
You said
Okay, let's shoot for Friday, 17th, 4 p.m.
Could something be sent out ahead of time just for us to be able to review it prior to agreeing to it, like Jerry says, let us have a look at it
Okay?
Thursday afternoon or
point.
something like that.
Frank and I will put something together, maybe a summary of what we have.
Great, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, Craig, more to report?
Thank you.
More problems?
Just trying to put in there. I don't consider problems, I think it's
Yeah.
good that we have a discussion.
That's
Exactly.
a great way to break you in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys and gals.
Real property. She had a pretty busy report. She mentioned that Lionsdale Biomass LLC is withdrawn from the pilot agreement. I think most of us are aware of that, so they've chosen to go back on the tax rolls. Northbrook Lions Falls LLC commenced a tax, and I hope I pronounce this right, Centiori, does that sound right
So
to you?
she already, that was
Yep.
close.
Action against the towns of Lyondales and West Turner. Again, they're trying to get their assessment reduced from, I think it was 69,000 or 6,900,000 down to 2,600,000, which would reflect a loss in taxes of about $31,000. And then Burroughs Paper, and this one still baffles me, sold their entire 24 parcel operation to Twin Rivers Paper Company out of Nova Scotia for $35,416. So I don't understand what's going on there. I guess time will tell. Yeah, probably. She being Candy, requested permission to raise the price she's charging to customers for the colored maps that she provides here in-house. She was getting $5 for a 30 by 42 and $3 for a 17 by 22. She would like to raise it $1 for each one, $6 for a 30 by 42 and $4 for 17 by 22.
You want to make that a motion?
No, there's a resolution.
There's a resolution for that.
Also, she brought us up to date on the 911, in that Elenia is beginning to transfer all the Lake Bonaparte fieldwork into the maps. So she hopes to have that all done very shortly, and I want to commend her on the work that she's done on that, and also on her continuing her education to be certified in her office. She's done a tremendous job. To IT, Adam pointed out that the Tyler Nemus is just about done. It's been a real challenge. Everybody's put hard work in, and it's countywide. It's been implemented. The rollout has been a success. Although he said there are still some challenges.
He also indicated that thanks in large part to PSAP funding, they added a layer of redundancy for our mission critical systems, which I think is outstanding. He indicated that we're real close to implementing a brand new website through EvoGov, and this will improve the look of the website to make it more modern, make the website more accessible, offer more services to Lewis County residents, add a mobile platform or framework, decentralize management of the website from the IT department to individual departments, and evolve the website by running it on a cloud platform that gets constant updates. And he said they're getting very close to going live. And then broadband is kind of in a holding pattern waiting for the state of New York. Where they have put it out, I understand is quite successful. And that's all I have to report.
Have the people, the towns that are being challenged on that assessment challenge there, have they requested any assistance from the county?
Not at this time, but I do think we need to keep a close eye on it because that's a big number.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Greg, transportation, solid waste.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll start with solid waste. The recycling building is complete. There's just some minor electrical wiring stuff to do. The new trailer is in, and they'll be using that to go to Benoni to Herkimer, which will actually double the weight they can haul down there, so it'll be less trips. So that's going to be a savings there. Dank has been very good to work with. They're going to cover 50% of all the costs of this new recycling building project, and at the cost of the trailer, the tractor, the loader. So I believe that we probably should thank them for coughing up that kind of money. But they are very happy that we've done this. Zero Sort is definitely going to possibly bring us more business too. There's been talk that Fort Drum was looking for the Zero Sort option. Right now they're hauling it to Oswego County right now. So there might be some business there. And also Dank is looking at recycling mattresses, which that would be a great thing, because I'd be seeing them alongside the road, that's for sure. The end of solid waste. We had quite a committee meeting for highway. We had Dave had complaints and Craig too, for the town of Denmark's plowing of the East Road, and that one storm, actually I traveled through there and it wasn't plowed at 7 o'clock in the morning, so I did find that whole area was pretty nasty there. So we're going to possibly have a conversation with Pat Mahar, the town of Denmark superintendent. And then the equipment plan that Dave's been working on, he ended up with the CHIPS money. You could only do so much roads and work this year. He went 24 miles on blacktopping, and they could go as far as that, as far as they did. So he took some of the CHIPS money and paid off 2 of the leases, the John Deere loader and the tandem tractor, which ended up saving us $10,000 in interest. So I thought that was a good thing to do. But he's continuing to go with his lease programs, and now he's looking with Liz to look at the enterprise, possibly 3 pickup trucks using the enterprise system, and see how he was going to put the numbers together and report on that this month. And let's see, then we're going to have a bid opening in February on a tandem dump truck, and possibly the uniforms stolen too.
So that's about it for the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Dick, hospital.
Yes, we had a pretty busy meeting. Finance part first, I guess. There was a gain of $1,966,684 versus a budgeted loss of $518. So for the month of December, that was good news. Our year-to-date surplus is $11,247,276 versus our break-even budget. The $11 million gain is a primary result of additional 2014 SNP IGT, Essential Provider Grant, another IGT for 2015. We've had some FAP QUIP money of $5.433 million. So what it was, they don't count it till it comes in. So we had a lot of money come in that was supposed to come in a few years ago. So it makes us look pretty good. We do have some ways to spend it, which I'll get to in a minute. Our days cash on hand is currently 62.5 versus a budget of 11.8. That is an all-time high for the hospital. Now, potential uses for the cash on hand. We've got some roofs that are leaking, so we're already looking into a plan to repair the ones that are in worse shape right now. We've had the study done. We've got it back, and we're putting together a course of action to repair the more serious roofs. We've also got a 2017 pension payment that we're going to get ready for. We got some operating room equipment upgrades. Our phone system needs some upgrading. So there are some places for that to go. Our accounts receivable are 40.1 versus a budget of 49.4. So the efforts that were enacted there about 6 months ago are starting to show fruit and bringing that down. Our average payment period to vendors is 74.7 days versus a budget of 77.1, so you can see that's coming down good. And I remember not too many months ago, that was at 100 days, so we're getting our vendors paid more on time. Strange to me, but it seems that the national big business average is about 90 days. I was in small business years ago and it was 10 days, so we're well within the recommended means for big businesses as well. We're looking to hear in a few weeks on 4.4 out of this $195 million pool available for statewide healthcare transformational program grant. If that grant's received, our use for that right now is going to be to debt relief. We didn't have much help getting for buildings and what have you. Debt relief seemed to be a big topic, so Jeff decided to put that as the main cause for that this year, and hopefully maybe we'll stand a better chance. The extended hours clinic staff by Dr. Shambo went very well the first week. It seems to have been very well received by the community, and we'll have a volumes report on that for February, but the first week was really, really good. You're going to see a position for 2 physician office assistants. I'll talk to that when that comes up if there's any questions on that. Employee of the month for November was Jennifer Chiaki. She was nominated by a coworker who wrote that her husband had extensive injury to his hand which required surgery. His orthopedic doctor recommended occupational therapy. The husband worked full-time and is a part-time coach, so getting there during the day was real hard. Jenny, with her manager's permission, performed therapy during extended hours. After working her shift, she came back to accommodate his schedule, which goes way above and beyond anything that would be expected. This person's very grateful that Lewis County General Hospital has some exemplary employees like Jenny who truly put the patient first. She's been a great blessing to us and many other patients. So join me in congratulating Jenny if you see her for Employee of the Month for November. We've got a new item called Hector the Disinfector. And you might have read this in the paper a little bit, but it's a light strike germ zapping robot. And this is, unfortunately, when you go to the hospital, infections are a big part of that. In about 10 minutes, this thing goes through a room and kills everything that we can't kill with alcohol and other wipes and antiseptics and stuff like that that we're cleaning up. The unveiling was today, and I'll ask Michelle to just comment a minute on that unveiling, if you would.
Yeah, it was nice to have several media folks there and some staff and people from the company that were answering some questions. So, and there is what they call a showbot in our lobby. It looks very similar to the actual robot, and it has like a video to show how it works. So it's kind of neat. So it's really good. It's exciting. The staff is really exciting, and it's just wonderful for the patients.
Hector, the
Hector the disinfector.
We had a naming.
We had a contest, employees could all put in the name that they wanted, and then we had a committee, and that's who they selected, so.
We're one of the few hospitals in the state that has.
We're the only one in northern or upstate New York, and there's only 400 hospitals in the country that have them. So we are on cutting edge.
why wouldn't people have more of them?
They're expensive.
Are they? Okay.
But they're worth it, you know, you can save a life, you're not somebody getting sick.
So work on ultraviolet light?
It's an ultraviolet light, yep, and it works it kills anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. It kills any virus, bacteria, anything. So the MRSA, the Clostridium, all of those things that people get in the hospitals, it'll kill those in 5 minutes.
Well, whatever it costs, one life saved, it's worth it.
It'll kill Ebola, it'll kill anthrax, it kills everything except for prions.
That's fantastic.
So we're very fortunate to have it.
Thanks very much.
Next to last, with regrets, we accepted the resignation of Jim Swords, the Human Resource Director. He's taken a job at Fort Drum, which cuts his commute by about 25 to 30 minutes a day each way. We wished him well last Friday in his future endeavors. And last but not least, we have Valentine's Day coming up, and the Lewis County Auxiliary has chocolate-covered cherries and pretzels on sale Monday, February 13th, 9 a.m. until gone. But Andrea tells me that if you talk to her tonight, she can still take phone-ins. They kind of canceled the pre-ordering process. Now, a little personal story on this. I did this last year for my wife. I happened to be up there and I bought some pretzels and I brought some candy. Wasn't planning on doing it again this year because I wasn't sure how well it went over. But Sunday my wife dropped the bomb that said, you know, honey, I really appreciated those pretzels and cherries. So I called up and pre-ordered again. So if the rest of you want to get in good with your wives, I suggest you give Andrea an order right after we get done with this. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Dick. Andrea, Public Health, Community Service.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are two resolutions in your packet tonight for public health. One is a contract for preschool services with Governor Central School District. This serves children in Harrisville School District, and a transfer of funds for the lead poisoning prevention program. Paula Kaufman also reviewed the cost analysis for billing Medicaid for preschool program, and those numbers are positive. For community services, Saturday, February 11th, Lewis County Cares will be hosting a community forum at the Lowville Fire Hall from 1 to 4:30. There will be a panel of speakers and representatives from local community-based organizations. This is an effort from NERCO and Linking Lewis County, an opportunity for the community to come together and discuss issues impacting the quality of life. From the proposed 2017-2018 New York State budget in regards to behavioral health services, one proposal is to close 100 state psychiatric hospital beds. The budget proposes to use dollars saved by reinvesting those dollars into the communities so people can stay and be treated where they live. Another proposal to transition 156 individuals from state developmental care facilities back into local communities. Our area is already struggling and providing services and staff to this population. Many of the proposals are geared to reduce state-run services and reduce cost, intending to keep individuals in their homes and seeking local services. The budget indicates some of the savings will be reinvested locally into the needed treatment services. However, our area is already challenged by attracting and retaining qualified staff. That is because of our geography, transportation options, and limited services options. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Andrea. And now for my report. Terry and myself attended the inter-county meeting January 26th in Elizabethtown. The interesting topic at that meeting was how road salt is contaminating wells and streams in the Adirondacks. Interesting, the Essex town supervisor in Wilmington was talking about how he used only sand in their towns. And just interesting, I talked to Dave Becker before our meeting, and we're down to a 7-to-1 ratio, 1 to salt. So there's alternatives to using all the salt in our roads. Another town was using salt brine. I'm not sure of the effects of that, but maybe that's something the committee would like to talk about. Received a notification by one of the NISAC reps that the governor is apparently sympathetic to the 8 counties that don't have a 911 cell charge. The 30-cent charge has been imposed by other counties, but there's 8 counties that have never got it ratified by the Senate. So I was told that if we want, we can do a letter that would give us the authority to have this cell phone charge. So I guess if nobody has an objection, Jerry?
We've already done that because it was election year, they refused to pass it before.
Yeah, but in this case, if the governor puts it in his budget for these 8 counties, it's not going to take any Senate action.
I'm in favor of it. You know, I mean, we tried to do stuff the way it was supposed to be done before, and they don't do a thing
Well,
for
it
us.
sounds like that this is a way around it just to get it done. So I'll go ahead and send this letter into the governor, and then if it goes through with the governor's budget, the next step would be for us to officially vote on it. Okay? Some of the other activities for your interest, tomorrow, myself, Liz, Joan, and I believe the sheriff plan on attending or going down to Snow Ridge. We like to talk to the new owners and find out what cooperation we could get from them for the upcoming mow-down event regarding drug enforcement. So hopefully that'll turn out well. February 14th, our ADC meetings in Lake Placid. Report about the NISAC conference. Very interesting courses down there. First one I attended was on the opioid or heroin epidemics going around. Another one on Constitutional Convention, which will be on our ballots this November. However, probably the biggest topic of the convention was the governor's proposal to link the AIM funding to counties, to having us put a referendum on the ballot for consolidation of shared services. So with that, it was understandably, it was quite passionate discussions down there, and it provoked our attorney and county manager to do a resolution. And I know they have the same opinion I did, but later on I got other information that I thought maybe we weren't quite ready for the language in that resolution. What happened was down there, you know, we listened to NISAC, and they gave us a lot of good information. They told how 60% of property taxes goes to schools, 40% goes to municipal cost. Of that, 40%, only 18% is county. So I guess one of the last things that I did was I got invited over to talk to the governor with some other county legislators and executives, and it was a very informal meeting. And there, it's kind of interesting how the governor kind of didn't act so strict with us. He gave us some interesting facts. He kind of turned them around. He acknowledged that the state, that we do send 60% to schools, but 40% are still within county control. And he tried to convince us that we should be getting the villages and towns together for a meeting. And as more or less, he wasn't ordering us, he was pleading with us to just see if there's further savings out there that we could arrive at. Some of the arguments he used is kind of interesting. He said that you think you have it tough with mandates. He said, well, you're not alone. He said 42% of the state budget is federal mandates.
Okay.
Then he also went on to say that he said, yes, New York does pass on Medicaid costs to counties, but at the same time, New York was one of the few states that allow counties to have sales tax. So in other words, he said he's offered NISAC before, if you want to give up your sales tax, we'll take over Medicaid. But the other thing is, like I said, it was quite informal, and after he done with his talk, he asked for comments, and a lot of the comments started out kind of buttering up to him. They're thanking him for all the money that was sent to him, or that he sent their way for water projects and sewer projects, and I thought he was getting off too easy, so I asked him one I thought was going to be a tough one for him. I said, so if counties are going to continue to have to pay mandated programs, why don't you allow counties to have some control over the level of service offered in the program? And I explained, I said, not every county in New York State is equal. We've got different per capita incomes, we've got different standard of livings. And I got done, and he said, good point, I agree with you. He actually said that he tried to get something through previously that would help with that, and he said it was shot down by a Republican. But he, I don't know, so anyhow, he said probably if you wanted to pursue something like that, you would have to do it on an individual basis or an individual program. So it's something I did talk over later on with our Senate or Assembly representative, and he was interested, so I don't know, I think it'd be interesting just to find out, knowing that the governor would approve it, it's got his blessing, why couldn't we get some kind of legislation through that way? So,
good point, Mike.
yeah.
So Mike, excuse me, but are you gonna suggest changes to the wording that, now I know why Joan must have done that wording in that resolution?
Yeah, so anyhow, I did ask for the resolution to get pulled because of the language I wanted to change, but also because it drew enough attention from the state people that I got a call from our district representative, and he set up a phone conference call with Albany with me yesterday, and they wanted to clarify their part. They said that, they said counties are getting a little carried away. They said the state is not imposing that we do this. They're making the legislative, the Assembly and Senate, take action and come up with a plan. And if they don't come up with a plan, then they're going to take away AIM funding. But they never said they'd take it away from the counties directly. In other words, if the Senate comes up with a plan that works, or any plan, we get AIM funding. And if the says we should try a referendum, the governor's saying we don't have to do it, but he'd like us to try to do it. In other words, He said, or if it gets defeated, he said, if you come up with a referendum and get defeated, you will get your AIM funding for your municipalities. So it's not a lost cause, it's just a roundabout way the governor is going around it. It's kind of strong arming the counties to do something.
Oh, I like the wording.
So,
I don't misunderstand that.
well, there was language in there that's saying that the state was mandating it upon us, but it's not quite right. So, and there was a lot of good points in that resolution. So I think what I'd like to do is get together with Joan and Liz and kind of reword some of the wording in it.
You mean like absurd? And
Well, like I said, the ISAC did their job and they got us wound up down there. And I think they probably wrote on the way home.
I think it's gonna help, because obviously it opened up the doors for the chairman to have one-on-one conversations with people at the state, so it had the effect that we wanted, and maybe we should pull it and see what develops in the next couple of weeks, and we can always reintroduce it.
Yeah, and I was surprised the governor was very, cordial with us, and it was very informal. In fact, afterwards, I mentioned about all the snowfall we had on Tug Hill, and he was very excited. He said, wow, he said, yeah, I didn't realize it. He said, when can I come up? And I said, anytime you're ready. So I wouldn't be surprised he'd be up shortly.
I thought you told him as soon as he passes side-by-side with you.
No, you told me you're gonna have one there when he comes. Hey, there was a few other things that we got in our NISAC report that really stood out to me. The governor put in his budget, the election reforms. He's proposing that we allow early voting and permits for registration the same day, but you'd have to allow it 12 days ahead of the vote. So all these mandates, but there's no additional funding provided to the counties to do these changes. The indigent defense, the wording in that, they'd fund 100% of the costs they deem necessary. Yeah. And then another one that really kind of sinks home to one of our issues here, second year in a row, they plan on increasing DA salaries, but nothing in the budget for it. So it's, there's still some things to do, that's for sure. I think I'm getting to the end of my report.
Yours is longer than mine.
I'm watching you two all, Phil. All right, yeah, I guess that's it. Any questions?
Yeah. Mike, when Larry gave this, I forgot to ask. I haven't heard anything about a snort run this year. Is there going to be one?
There's been no contact.
That's what I wondered.
From
The
state
other thing.
and person.
Okay, we'll move to Patty, Treasurer's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The special legislative contingency, $395,000. Contingency is $455,423. Capital data processing, $126,260.32. Capital equipment, highway is $39,362.59. County equipment, $261,853.43. Sales tax figures, I don't have the end of year yet, but it definitely hit budget and probably close to an $800,000 surplus. But again, I don't have the final figures yet. Hospital repayment, they are on target. Right now, a balance of $2.3 million. And internal service fund, December figures, they had a loss of $103,860.46. So approximate fund balance there, $1,071,092. There are some resolutions in the packet moving some money into some of the capital accounts. So, and that's it, if you have any questions.
Thank you, Patty. Any questions for Patty? Okay, we'll move on to the report of the Ways and Means Committee per Rule 7. Terry?
The Ways and Means Committee reports they've examined the claims presented for payment in a total amount of $1,696,102.13 and recommend that they be audited and allow for the amounts claimed.
Moved by Craig, second by Dick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
First resolution then is to audit and allow the claims in the amount of $1,696,102.13.
Moved by Brian, second by Larry. All in favor, or roll call please, Terry.
Brennan,
Yes.
Chartran,
Yes.
Dahlhoff,
Yes.
Hathaway,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Causer,
Yes.
Marmahan,
Yes.
Mosher,
Yes.
Taball.
Yes.
We have the local law introductory number 1, establishing residency requirements for Assistant County Attorney for the County of Lewis. And your first resolution, 46, is to set the public hearing for that local law on March 7th.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, Capital County Road striping.
Moved by Craig, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, capital equipment.
Moved by Brian, second by Phil. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, capital highway building.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing Lewis County Planning Director as HUD Section 3 Coordinator to sign program documents required under the New York State Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program.
Moved by Larry, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Civil Service Department.
Moved by Brian, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, community services.
Moved by Craig, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate and unappropriate funds, community services.
Moved by Larry, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate and transfer funds, community services.
Moved by Phil, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate and unappropriate funds, community services.
Moved by Phil, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, community services.
Moved by Andrea, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing the county to enter in a lease renewal agreement with Day One Associates.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to county clerk.
Moved by Jerry, second by Phil. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing county manager to approve budget transfers.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? Jerry?
I had one question. And this is just appropriation, it's already been budgeted, moving
Right.
around line items.
Right.
Thank you.
Other comments? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appointing members to E911 Oversight Board.
Moved by Craig, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, JCC Extension Center.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing acceptance of FEMA grant award and agreement with New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services funding to to update the county's multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Department of Highways.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Lewis County General Hospital.
Moved by Larry, second by Brian. Discussion?
These just for two doctors up there?
This is going to allow us to set up a central scheduling office, hopefully make us more efficient in our processing of patients.
They're clerk positions, they're clerical positions.
Does that mean when you want an appointment, wherever you would go through these two people?
Yeah, so.
We'll publish a number, and that'll be the number.
Well, I think with the new phone system, we're gonna be able to do a lot more, it's gonna have a lot more functionality, so all of the offices could have a phone tree. So the first number one could say, press number one if you're calling to schedule an appointment. So that would go to the central schedulers.
So we can't do it locally anymore, or won't be able to?
Correct. I mean, you're gonna be able to push other buttons if you really wanna talk to somebody, but,
Okay.
yeah. It's been shown to improve patient satisfaction. If you're calling for your doctor and your doctor's not available, well, let me see. If so-and-so's available today, they can get you in at 1 o'clock or something, so patients will be able to be seen quicker possibly. And we're hoping to make the physicians more productive as well.
So basically, these two are gonna answer the phone, and then they're gonna be able to schedule your appointment with whatever doctor
Yes.
that works for the hospital.
Correct.
But that won't be including Manny and Quickless, right?
No.
Just the ones like.
Just the
Laura.
employed physicians, yes.
And then they're gonna offer you to go to a different doctor if there's scheduled time.
Yep, if the patient chooses to. I mean, it's all up to the patient. Some people might not want to, they might want to wait a couple of days, but if you really want to see somebody today.
You're really sick.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Larry.
So Michelle, in my case, Southwest Health Center, I would no longer call there for an appointment, I would call a hospital or?
You're still gonna call the same number, but it'll go into that phone tree eventually, and this is gonna be a few months, and, we're gonna let patients know and everything, but, so you're still gonna call the same number that you always did. But again, if you wanna schedule an appointment, or if you wanna talk to the nurse, you push 2, and that will take you right to Southwest Health Center.
Okay.
But all the scheduling numbers would go to one of these 2 schedulers.
Would that include our dialysis?
No, the dialysis, that doesn't really have anything to do with us, they just rent our space, they lease from us, so we don't have any control of their schedules, or who would see, who we don't.
Thank you.
What's the name of that robot? Can he answer the phone too?
You might get them to do that.
It's gonna be Hector S.
Okay, any other comments on the resolution? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposed. Resolution passes.
Appointing Director of Human Resource Personnel Officer.
Moved by Jerry, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Information Technology Department.
Moved by Phil, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Law Department.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, Legislative Department.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion?
I'm a little curious how this happened, they sent the check to the county?
I suspect.
Yes, yep, they just sent a check right into us and then said, use it, and so This is, we called and said, what do we want done with it? We sent it upstairs, and this is what was decided to have done with it, because they were from the end of the county, so.
Other questions, comments? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between county and the Loudoun Fire Department.
Moved by Craig, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Office for the Aging.
Moved by Andrea, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Number 71 has been withdrawn.
You'll get another one, Phil.
I just love that absurd misguided fundamental.
Thank you, Phil.
You can tell him when he comes up here snow sweating.
You can show them the original.
And show him Joan.
Go ahead, Jerry.
And I'm sure Liz had involvement in those words too.
72, approving agreement between Public Health and Governor Central School District for preschool tuition-based services.
Moved by Phil, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, Public Health.
Moved by Brian, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing an agreement between county and CNS companies for the Emergency Communications Project.
Moved by Brian, second by Jerry. Discussion?
Yeah, Jerry, is this all part of the radio program? Am I confusing that?
No, it's part of the radio program, and what essentially we had not to exceed. And what's happened in the radio project's gone on roughly a year longer than it was scheduled to do, and we've incurred some more costs. So we went with a not exceed 10,000, which we have the money in the project to pay this. So it's not, it's, we're still within the project cost, but it's allowing us to, we've had Bob Duclos send out an RFP for just recently. What was it, Joan?
For the maintenance of.
Yeah, maintenance of the system. He's working, helping us with one for governance, and he's been in the process of closing out with E.F. Johnson as far as the final contract. We're hopefully at the end of February, we'll be able to accept the system. If not, it'll go on a little bit longer till we get everything right.
When we signed the contract with them, I thought it was all inclusive, no matter how long it took, that they get us to that point where the system worked at the efficiency we put in the RFP.
Yeah.
So why are we having additional costs?
This is our consultant, the one who's been representing us. And he had a base one for $650,000, which actually ended when the contract should have ended over a year ago. We should have been done with it over a year ago. So, and we've had him do extra stuff for us, and so he's exceeded by, I think he was over $4,000. So Liz, I, and the committee wanted him to possibly do some other stuff for us, so we not to exceed 10,000.
Phil, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was curious about the maintenance. Have you decided on a company for that? You got bids, right?
Yep, we're in the process of the intent letter. Went to United Radio out of Syracuse. They'll be up and running. They should, what they're saying is the first week in March, be ready to take system over. They had received their training. We got 3 bids. They were pretty close. One was kind of an outlier, and after going through everything, you know, United Radio seemed to fit our needs for going on in the future.
Other comments on the resolution? Brian?
Jerry, with this, okay, because we've had to keep the consultant on basically for an extra year longer than what we had to, is there any way of charging back to E.F. Johnson out of that money we owe them to finish the project?
That's something would have to, it's over my head, so would have to go with Joan to see if there's a possibility there, and Liz to see what we could come up with.
Because, I mean, we wouldn't have incurred all these extra costs if E.F. Johnson would have gotten the radio project right in the time period they said they'd have it right.
Well, I think it's a combination. I mean, I know one thing, and, I mean, we negotiated a couple pieces of property that we had everybody else where we could construct the tower sites in 1 year. We had one that we had talked probably 6 months, and when they were ready to go, they threw out the most ludicrous figure they had to have to allow us there, so we had to go back and renegotiate for another piece of property. And make a long story short, we didn't get to pour those pads and stuff. That was in the spring, so I think it might have been a combination which pushed it back a little bit, but I mean, we can see what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments on the resolution? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Show Craig Brennan opposed. Resolution passes.
Authorizing Lewis County Real Property Tax Office to charge a fee for colored tax maps.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Discussion?
Have we charged before?
Yes.
Yes, she's raising it $1
That's what
per
I
map.
thought. Yeah, I didn't say that, that's what I thought. This probably just barely covering our costs.
Yeah. It's a bargain.
Yes.
Ink's expensive.
Both paper and ink, and machines are
One of
running.
the printer and the ink.
Yeah.
Other questions, comments? All in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Recreation, Forestry, and Parks Department.
Moved by Brian, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Sheriff's Department and Black Creek Integrated Systems Corp.
Moved by Larry, second by Brian. Discussion?
Is this the one that replaces the weeder software?
No, it's a separate software. This is for inmate tracking. And it actually talks to other counties as well. That one's for civil judgments.
Other questions? All in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing MOU between County Sheriff and Lewis County General Hospital regarding provision of jail physician services to inmates.
Moved by Craig, second by Jerry. Discussion? Brian?
This is just a renewal of the contract.
Yes.
Other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing an agreement between Sheriff and the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision Office of Nutritional Services for inmate food product purchase and services.
Moved by Craig, second by Larry. Discussion?
Just want to commend the sheriff on moving to that program. I think it's going to be a cost savings across the board. Time will tell.
Other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing an agreement between Sheriff and One Path Career Partners.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Sheriff and Oneida County for psychiatric services.
Moved by Brian, second by Greg. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing subrecipient agreement by and between Lewis County and Snowbelt Housing.
Moved by Phil, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing addendum to agreement between Department of Social Services and Hillside Children's Center.
Moved by Andrea, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between DSS and LexisNexis, a current for government.
Moved by Craig, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approving agreement between Solid Waste and Roy Heatsworth for auctions.
Moved by Phil, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approving correction of tax bill.
Moved by Craig, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Directing Lewis County General Hospital to reimburse penalties imposed upon the Lewis County Self-Insurance Plan for late filing of reports.
By Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appointing member to the Youth Bureau Advisory Board.
Moved by Jerry, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried.
You have the late resolutions, number 89, to authorize payment, Capital JCC Extension Center.
Moved by Craig, second by Phil. Discussion? Brief explanation. Patty, would always like to go over the late resolutions a little more.
Yep, I'm just asking for permission to move it from the general fund into the new capital JCC project.
Other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds and authorize payment.
Moved by Craig, second by Larry. Discussion? And this one is for what?
This is what Jerry recommended, what this would allow us to apply the hospital payments towards the JCC Extension College. And again, this is what Jerry suggested to help save money on vans, or grants, excuse me, because we'd only have to do one instead of four, right, Patty?
Right. Okay.
So that was a good suggestion.
Other comments?
Is the wording in this, is there a comma or something missing someplace? The total is the,
What I'm asking to do is to appropriate the 1.2 million per year.
that's all you need
And
to know.
then I want to move it monthly as I receive the money from the hospital.
Exactly, that's what I thought.
So that money was currently just going in the general fund?
Right, it was going right into the fund balance, so I'm just going to move it right into the capital fund.
From my understanding, it could be as much as $50,000 savings on interest alone, correct? By doing it this way.
Right, because otherwise we'd have to renew the bans every year.
Yeah. Good suggestion.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Designation of additional depository for 2017.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That concludes resolution.
Other business. Does anyone have any other business come before this meeting?
Make the motion?
Motion.
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Craig, second by Dick. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.